Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have swatches for you from the brand Iscream Nails. So today I have their So Jelly collection as well as their Christmas collection that are available right now. In the description box below I will link the Iscream site, I will link their Instagram page, I will link my Instagram page where you can see more swatches of everything from today's video. I will also link a page to their stockists. They are an Australian company. They do ship pretty much worldwide, but just in case you are more comfortable ordering through a stockist, that will be there also. I do also have a coupon code for 20% off. It's not an affiliate code, it's just 20% off for you for watching my video. It will be on the screen as well as in the description box. So we do have a total of 9 polishes to look at today, and let's go ahead and get started. So first we have My Bad, and this is a bright fire engine red jelly. So here's our first coat of My Bad. This one definitely covers the best of all the jellies in this collection. It does have a really good, really smooth, easy to work with formula. I didn't have any kind of running or pulling or staining. It is still a jelly, so it does have to be built up, and what I'm going to do for all the jellies is show you what a jelly sandwich looks like on my ring finger. So here's our second coat, and that does cover completely in 2 coats, and I'm pretty sure I didn't let that glitter dry all the way. I do fix that for my photos. This is going to dry nice and glossy all on its own. You will want a top coat to give it that finished look and to keep it lasting, but there's 2 coats. Up next we have Oh Snap, and this is a bright leaning neon orange jelly. Here's our first coat of Oh Snap. So this one is definitely more sheer than the last one here on this first coat. It does have much the same formula though, very smooth and easy to work with. Again, no running or pulling or staining on this one. It does have to be built up, and just like the rest of them, I'm going to show you what a jelly sandwich looks like on my ring finger. So here's our second coat, and that's building up in 2 coats, but I am going to go in for a third coat. I will leave the glitter that I used for all these jelly sandwiches in the description box as well. It's an OPI, I just can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. But here's our third coat, and that does cover completely in 3 coats. You can make out a wee bit of nail line, but that is pretty standard for jellies. This will also dry glossy on its own, and nothing's going to be hard to remove, so there's 3 coats. Up next we have Off the Hook, and this is a bright, again, leaning neon yellow jelly. Here's our first coat of Off the Hook. So again, this one is pretty sheer here on this first coat, very normal for jellies, but again, a smooth, easy to work with formula, no complaints across the board in the jellies on the formulas. This one does, I feel, look really, really good as a jelly sandwich as well. So here's our second coat. Again, we're building up in 2 coats, but we're not completely opaque. I am going to go in for a third coat, but this is one where you'll definitely be able to make out a good bit of nail line still on 3 coats. These are all going to dry nice and glossy all on their own. You will want that top coat, again, to just keep your manicure lasting and to give it that kind of finished look. Nothing in these polishes will dry textured or be difficult to remove, as there's nothing added to them. So there is 3 coats. Up next we have Step Off, and this is a Kelly Green jelly. So here's our first coat of Step Off. This is one of the most sheer ones in the collection. It does have, again, a very smooth and easy to work with formula, but it will not build up to opacity. You could layer these over white. You could also use these in pond manicures. You can use these in jelly sandwiches. You can use these in nail art. Jellies are very versatile polishes. So here's our second coat, and again, we're building up that color in 2 coats, but it's not going to build up to opacity on its own, at least not in 3 coats. So here's that third coat, and this is about as opaque as we're going to get. I do, again, really like this in a jelly sandwich though. This one, just like the rest of them, will dry glossy on its own. You, again, will want that top coat just to finish everything off and give it a nice rounded look. So there is 3 coats. Up next we have Let's Bounce, and this is a deeper kind of leaning navy blue jelly. Here's our first coat of Let's Bounce. So this one's definitely very sheer, about as sheer as Step Off was, the last polish. It's again one that's not going to build up to opacity. I was expecting this one to be one of the more opaque ones in the collection, and it kind of really threw me off that it wasn't. So here's our second coat, and again that's building up that color in 2 coats, but we're not going to reach the opacity to cover a nail line. But again, you could use this as a jelly sandwich, you could use this in a pawn manicure. There's a lot of ways to use jellies. So there's our third coat, and I love how this looks layered with the glitter. This one, just like the rest, will dry glossy all on its own. Nothing's going to dry textured, nothing's going to stain, nothing's going to be difficult to remove. So there is 3 coats. Up next we have the Balm, and this is a bright flamingo pink jelly. Here's our first coat of the Balm. So this one's one of the more opaque jellies in this collection. It's not nearly as opaque as My Bad, the first one, the red one that we looked at, but it does build up to opacity in 3 coats. Again, this is a good smooth formula, no running or pooling or staining on this one either. So here's our second coat, and that's building up well in 2 coats, but I am going to show you what that third coat looks like today. This one, just like the rest, will dry nice and glossy all on its own. A top coat will help keep your manicure staying as long as possible though, and it will just give your whole manicure a rounded look. So I do, again, really like this as a jelly sandwich. I think all of these are very beautiful sandwiched between a glitter. So there's 3 coats. Moving on to the holiday trio, first up we have Litmus, and this is a clear base full of metallic glitters, and I see red squares and red small hexes. I see gold, silver, and purple small hexes, as well as gold, silver, and purple larger hexes, and then I do see some green square glitter as well. So here's 1 coat of Litmus. I am going to try to layer this up on its own on 2 nails, and then I'll layer it over the Balm in 1 coat on the other 2 nails. So I didn't build this one up to full opacity on its own. They did advertise that it could be built up on its own though, so I did want to show it that way. You definitely could sponge this on if you want a more full glitter look, but I will do anything in my power to not sponge on a glitter. It makes a complete mess for me. So I decided to show what 3 coats looks like today. This one will dry textured and a little dull, so you will want a glossy top coat to finish it off, and it does take some manipulation to get those glitters to go across the nail evenly. That is very normal for these kind of chunkier glitters. And in my photos it shows like pretty much all black glitter, but that's just because they're so sparkly and reflective that it wasn't showing right with my lights. So there is 1 and 3 coats. Up next we have Rock the Bells, and this is a clear base with tiny metallic and holographic red micro glitter, and then I do see some gold holographic micro glitter as well. Here's our first coat of Rock the Bells. So this one covers pretty well here in this first coat. You definitely could use this as a topper, but I loved how this looked built up on its own. So I'm going to show you what 2 coats looks like today. This one has a very good, very smooth, easy to work with formula, no complaints whatsoever. So there is our second coat, and there might be a couple patchy spots here on 2 coats. I didn't notice any, but depending on your application, you might want to go in for 3. This one will dry very textured with like a sandy texture, so you'll want top coat, and it'll be very difficult to remove. So there's 2 coats. And lastly for today we have That's a Wrap, and this is a light blue frosty base, and it has these silver holographic larger hex glitter as well as silver holographic micro glitter. And here's our first coat of That's a Wrap. This one does cover pretty well on this first coat. You get a good amount of glitter out without having to do anything special. It does have that kind of frosty base. It gives me a lot of those feelings of the OPIs that they tend to do the frosty bases and the chunky glitters, where it creates an odd texture even if you add a top coat to it. If you don't love that, you won't love this polish. Again, you will want top coat to smooth this out, and it will be difficult to remove, so there is 2 coats. So my favorite of all of these is Rock the Bells. This is so blingy, so Christmas, so beautiful. This would be really beautiful as a full manicure, as an accent nail with nail art. Very versatile polish. It can be used as a topper, it can be built up on its own. It's just overall a really, really gorgeous one, and it's a very Christmassy color, so Rock the Bells is definitely my favorite. And guys, that is it. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of these polishes. Let me know if you plan on picking any of them up, and let me know what your favorite was. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you'd like to see more from me, and I will talk to you again next time.